Our speaker today is Kelly Doerr, who will give a short presentation telling you how you can use social media to find homes for long-stay pets. Kelly is a foster care specialist and consultant and the coordinator for a national study of foster care for medium and large dogs with long shelter stays. Kelly, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really excited to present today. It was kind of a challenge to fit social media into this 5-minute presentation, but I kind of boiled some stuff down and thought about a couple of things new. So the first thing, the goal of any social media should be to make an emotional connection. So anything that you write, think about it. Is there a way in this post or in the way that I've written the text or in the photo where somebody can make an emotional connection with like the supporters of your organization with your organization or the potential adopters with a particular pet from your organization? So the way you make an emotional connection, there's several things that kind of come together. Attention and empathy. So attention, your photo or video or text needs to be new and different, something that they haven't seen before, or something that's not, something that's original. Bright, vibrant color really helps, and something that's appealing. Empathy, that comes from something that's relatable, like the text about the animal, people can relate to the way the animal looks or is feeling, an expression that seems very human, and eye contact really up the empathy amount. So on the right is Sweet Jane, and she was one of my fosters, and she was a behavioral foster. She was in my home for about 8 months. We had a different foster, and they helped us every other weekend. They would take her for a little bit. It was great. So she one day hopped up on this chair and gave me this look and took a picture, and there was just something in her eyes there, like that really seemed so human. And I thought, what could she possibly be saying that could connect her to a potential adopter? So we came up with this meme. And my family, they can still find me here because she'd been in foster for so long and she wasn't on the shelter floor. So the aim there was definitely to make an emotional connection, and I try to keep that in mind in all of the things that I post. This emojis, a tool to facilitate emotional connection. This is not something that was natural to me. It is actually, I'm a person who is extremely resistant to this idea at first. With the nonprofit that I am on the board of, we, a couple of years ago, had a really good social media person, and she had been doing it for a while. She was one of those people who had a K after her name on Instagram with all of the followers. And she started doing our posts and she started adding these emojis. And at first I was like, oh, maybe this is unprofessional. I don't know if I like it. And people started responding like really, really incredibly well. And so after a while we were like, you know what, we're just going to go with it. And what was really interesting was a couple of weeks ago, I was listening to a podcast and they started talking about emojis. And they said that there's actual research behind it. Emojis, the emotions that are expressed in an emoji can affect the receiver's emotions through the process of emotional contagion. So especially if they see a facial emoji, like a smile, through emotional contagion, that kind of gets translated to the person who reads it, which is exactly what we're trying to do in social media. Even non-facial emoji can play a role in emotional contagion. So it's definitely something to take a look at and to try out if you feel like doing something new. One thing that I think that is really important is to have a volunteer and foster and staff social media group or somewhere online where you guys can discuss, people can post pictures, people can tell stories, because it makes it really easy for the person or people who are doing social media to just take those and put them up on social media. It makes their job a lot easier. Sometimes they can just cut and paste text and just put it up online, or it can just help them to be able to craft a post a lot faster. And having those pictures from in homes and from volunteers in a shelter just can really be helpful. So a couple of social media tips. First of all, the first 30 minutes is extremely important. When you post something, the first 30 minutes, and even down to like the first 5 minutes, that's when the algorithm really kicks in. So you want a lot of people to like and share and comment on your stuff right away. That is one thing that, one thing I tell my family is, I do the Instagram for that nonprofit, and I'm like, you must like every post. And my daughter, she laughed. She's like, Mom, I liked every post today. And I was like, excellent. But seriously, tell your friends, tell your volunteers, please, like and comment and share as much as possible, especially if you catch it right away. Using all the platform's features it can be really helpful for two reasons. One, it can be really new and exciting to the people who are following you. Because say on Instagram, if you do stories and live video and boomerangs, it can really, kind of change things up. And the other thing is, I have heard it said that the algorithm kind of may favor people who use the different features of a platform, because the platform itself really wants people to be early adopters and to use their stuff. So we've been trying it out. It seems to be it's working very well for us. So I think it's probably definitely something to try out. The other thing is, you can nearly, I'd say 99 times out of 100, you can improve your photos. Even a photo that looks like it's great can be edited. And on smartphones, it's so easy to do this with, the light, the editing stuff. So usually when I have a photo that I want to post on Instagram, I will go in and I'll lighten it, and I will also increase the color saturation. And nearly every photo can be improved by this, even if it looks great. But especially those photos that are a little bit dark, there are some amazing editing tools now that are just in smartphones. There are like 6 different buttons for light, and you can lighten the shadows, you can lighten the highlights, all kinds of neat stuff. So definitely try that. It will improve your photos, and it'll improve the way that your stuff comes across. And that's about it. Make sure that if you haven't joined our Get 'em Home Challenge group, to join it. We have some neat mini challenges on there, and other ways to win. And make sure to hashtag your posts with Get 'em Home 2018.
Great. Thank you, Kelly. So if you have a question, either raise your hand or type the question in the chat. We do have a few questions. Kelly, the first one is, what are some other ways that I can learn about and improve my organization's social media?
Okay. So one thing that I've totally been loving lately is listening to podcasts. And there are some really neat social media and marketing podcasts out there. These are 2 that I really have liked: the Social Media Marketing with Michael Stelzner and the Goal Digger podcast. So I've been going through there and looking at the ones that, pertain to social media, like Instagram, how the algorithm works, and, Facebook, how to boost posts, the best way, and that kind of a thing. But also the podcast, the people who run the podcast have their own websites, and I really like it's Jenna Kutcher who runs the Gold Digger podcast, and she has some really neat freebies that she gives away. One of them is Captions That Convert, and I love it. It kind of helps you it's like a little guide that helps you to come up with captions for Instagram. So they have some just really neat stuff out there.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelly. Our next question is, what are some ways that organizations can use social media to promote events?
Oh, okay. All right. So this one I also have here. So at the nonprofit that I'm on the board of, we're very small. We just started out. So we had a ton of cats and kittens over the summer. And so we would ask our volunteers and fosters, hey guys, this is a post that I put up. I just kind of like wrote the text, and I was like, hey, can you guys just cut and paste this on the Nextdoor? And then in the comments, I put pictures of the animals. And so many people did it because they were just, everybody wants their fosters obviously to be adopted. So tons of people did it. We were able to kind of blanket the whole, Northern Virginia region via, 25 fosters or so posting it. It turned out to be a gigantic event. So asking for help from your supporters is great. The other thing is looking at that first 5 to 30-minute window after a post goes up, we wanted to save a dozen kittens from this one shelter who were very sick, and the isolation ward was full. So I wanted to post on the main page, and I scheduled it for 10. And we needed to raise some money in order to be able to pull these guys and get them the medical care they needed. So the night before, I posted on our internal volunteer and foster and page, hey guys, a post is going up tomorrow at 10 a.m. Here's what we're doing, and here's why we're going to ask for these donations so that we can pull these cats. It was crazy. Our volunteers and fosters were so thankful that they had known kind of like the background about it, and that they were informed. And so everybody at 10 got on and shared it. And we raised 3 times the amount of money that we had asked for, which was amazing. And one of the fosters actually went to her work and raised the entire amount that we'd asked for, like herself that day. Which just blew us away. But, just making sure people, your supporters, your volunteers and fosters have those heads up about things and how they can help you is really important.
That's a great suggestion, Kelly. Thank you. I love it.